Hey guys, what's up? Yugi Master here. I'm coming at you with a deck profile of my TG Naturia stun deck. This deck is pretty good, pretty cool, and pretty fun. Um, it can do Quasar. It can do uh, TG Halberd Cannon, but you have to know how to loop this right so you can get into it. And it's a bit fairly complicated. This deck it's a really good fun, fast-paced, not necessarily fast-paced deck, but it's a very good fast-paced controlled deck. What I love about this deck is the fact that you can not only lock your opponent from being able to play any spells or traps, but you can summon into some big monsters very quickly and very efficiently. The deck has search power, the deck has draw power. Well, not necessarily so much draw power, but it does have a bit of that. But it has search power and summon power, and that's what a good deck needs. Is search power, summon power, and the defense to back up your cards and to stop your stun plays, which this deck does just that. So we're going to start off with 2 Boost Warrior. It's a level 1 non-tuner, so it's used to get into your Recipro Dragonfly and your Formula Synchron when you want to go into TG Halberd Cannon and shooting Quasar Dragon. Have 2 in the deck because your main target for this will be the card Spore for this combo. And Spore is easy to bring back just by banishing a plant monster, which you can do pretty easily in this deck. So Spore and Boost Warrior is a great combo because you get Spore on the field, you can special Boost Warrior, sync for level 2. So that's how that works, and that's the only reason why Boost Warriors in the deck is to go into Recipro Dragonfly and your Formula Synchron, which I for some reason always forget its name. Now, the main thing you want to try to tribute someone to get onto the field at all times is Naturia Bamboo Shoot. This deck will kill most decks you play against. Elemental Heroes, GG. Infernities, GG. Fire Fist, GG. Anything that runs a lot of back row. Naturia Bamboo Shoot says goodbye to. Evil Swarms. Evil Swarms do have an impact on this deck, so don't immediately go facing Evil Swarms right away unless you're confident in your abilities and being able to possibly play against them with this kind of deck, with this format. Bamboo Shoot, though, makes it to where your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards. When you tribute it with an Naturia monster, the only way to stop this from happening for the rest of the duel is to negate the summon with Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, or a monster effect that negates summons, which most decks and cards cannot do, except with Solemns. So Naturia Bamboo Shoot is a level 5, 2000 attack, 2000 defense. So they could book immune it. Oh wait, if you summon it, they can't book immune it at all. So, haha. Now they could use a monster effect like Maestro to throw it face down, then they can, but as soon as you flip it face up that next turn, they can't do it again because it was still tributed with the Naturia monster. So, its effect is continuous. Yeah, they basically have to overpower your Bamboo Shoot. Now, this deck relies on a lot of stall power, so Naturia Butterfly will do that, and it's a level 3, so you can go for level 7 Synchros, level 8 Synchros, depending on what monsters you have on the field. But Naturia Butterfly, when comboed with your Eggplant, will result you in Naturia Beast, which you can use to stop spellbook decks. Butterfly is just too good for that. Butterfly will get you into that, plus when your opponent attacks, you can send the top card of your deck to negate the attack. So, Butterfly Butterfly might be a -1, but it still saves you, and can save you for getting into your bamboo shoot. So you have triple Butterfly in the deck because it's that important. Alright, next you have Naturia Cliff. I had this at 3. I found it was too much, so I dropped it to 2. When it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 1 or lower Naturia monster from the deck. So, if you have Spore on the field, or TG Magician, you could sync it with Naturia Cliff, go for 5 special A level 4 or lower Naturia monster. Such as you can go for your Butterfly, or your only other target, Eggplant. Eggplant is useful because whenever it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Naturia monster, except Eggplant, from your graveyard to your hand. So let's say you're out of your bamboo shoot, you got a Cliff you contribute, or a Butterfly you contribute, but you need your bamboo shoot back. Just have an Eggplant sent from the field to the graveyard. Get it right back to your hand, replay it. It's recyclability. Eggplant is just too good. Then your main card, Spore. Banish a plant-type monster from your deck, or from your graveyard, special summon this card, and increase its level by the level of that banished monster. So, it's recyclable only once, but that's why you have multiple Magician and 1 Spore, is so that you can get your level 2s out pretty efficiently while still being able to get into your level 5s, which Spore can help because it can change multi-level. So Spore is just good in that aspect. And it's a tuner. So like if you have Princess Titanial, who I believe is a level 7, and she's in the graveyard, banish her, special summon Spore. That's a level 7 tuner, special boost warrior, instant level 8. So that's pretty cool. Next is TG Cyber Magician. Now TG Cyber Magician is just such a wonderful monster. Not only is when it destroyed by your opponent's effect, whether it was by battle or by card effect, at the end phase of the turn, you can search for a TG monster, except itself. So, with Cyber Magician, you could search for Rhino, Striker, or Werewolf. So it's just too good. That, and Cyber Magician's main effect is really cool. If you use it for a Synchro Summon, you can sync it for a TG monster using TG monsters in hand as the sync. So, normal Summon Magician, if you have Rhino in hand, sync out a hand for an instant level 5. Well, for an instant level 5 Librarian, Power Gladiator, Wonder Magician, any of those targets will work with Cyber Magician. Cyber Magician is just too good. 3 Rush Rhino. Main beater of the deck you'll be using to attack over your opponent's monsters. What I like about this guy is when he attacks, his attack is 2000. During the end phase, whenever he's destroyed, you get your search for any TG monster card. So, he's too good. He's a search, and he's your main target for using Magician's effect to sync out of hand. Then you have TG Striker. When your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can special summon him, so he's a Cyber Dragon. You can combo TG Striker with Werewolves. And Striker and Werewolf both have the same effect as the rest of the TG monsters, and they're destroyed. You can search for a TG monster from the deck. So they'll share that. But you can special Striker, special Werewolf out of hand, sync for Wonder Magician. Wonder Magician's effect, blow up a card. Then, because you have a normal, if you have Rhino in hand and Magician in hand, you can sync for another level 5 TG monster out of hand and go for Blade Blaster. It's just too good. It's just too good. Then for your spells. a Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, triple MST, because back row is an issue with this deck. Back row will stop you from summoning your Bamboo Shoot and your Synchro monsters, which is very important in this deck. So this deck doesn't focus around spell and trap negation. It focuses upon monster destruction and monster bounce back. The Synchro monsters you go into in the Bamboo Shoot are your spell and trap negation. So you need to be able to protect them, which is why I run triple MST. It's just too good. Just too good. Then Pot of Avarice. You need to be able to recycle your monsters in this deck as much as possible. Especially your TG Wonder Magician and your TG Stubborn Magicians and your Rhinos. Those are most important to bounce back with Avarice. That, and you want to be able to bounce back your Spores and your Naturia monsters if you have to. So Pot of Avarice is just too good, and it lets you have a +2. So that right there makes it epic. Then you have Rhoda. Rhoda is only just to search out your boost warriors, so you can go into Reciprocal Dragonfly or Formula Synchron as fast as possible. This deck isn't based on getting a Halberd Cannon or Quasar, but it can do it quite frequently if you get this combo. Now for the traps. Like I said, it's important to be able to get rid of your opponent's monsters, stop their big plays, to get you into Bamboo Shoot, and to get you to stun them so you can get your game victory. So first off, double bottomless. They summon a monster for 10 attack or more, boom, peace out. This will really help you in the Fire Fist matchup. Because if you can save yourself to get into Bamboo Shoot, they no longer can activate any of the Fire Formation cards, thus blocking their deck from searching, powering up, any of that jazz. Any popping, they won't be able to hold. They'll be able to pop the monster. They'll be able to pop your monsters, so that isn't nothing you have to worry about. That's why bottomless is here. Get rid of those bears. Get rid of those Tiger King. Because that's going to happen. That's going to hit the field. Bottomless will take care of that. Bottomless, though, is recommended for getting rid of those bears because if it's banished, they can't get them back. As to where in other decks, banishment isn't an issue. With Fire Fist, banishing the bears is their biggest issue because they need to be able to get over big monsters. And that's where Fire Fist comes in handy, is being able to get into their spells and their traps to get over the big monsters such as Scrap Dragon. They can even get over Quasar. If the deck is ran right, it can get over Quasar. So, stopping their bears is the most important play you can do against Fire Fist, so Bottomless is perfect for that. Then you have Compulse. Compulse will get you over any of the stupid XYZ monsters. It'll get you over Zen mains. It'll get you over Zenmayo. It will get you over Tiras. If you're going against the wind-up matchup, you're going to want to get rid of Tiras. And any of their XYZ monsters, their Invoker, to stop them from going into the loop. So Compulse is just brilliant for that one. That, and it's also perfect for getting over Stardust Dragon, which I tend to run into quite a bit. So Compulse is just too good for that. Compulse is way too good. Solemn Judgment. If they go to Solemn Judgment or Solemn Warning your Naturia Bamboo Shoot, you're going to want to be able to negate that negation to get it onto the field to lock them. So Solemn Judgment will help you do that. Solemn is very important to save for their negation traps when they want to try to stop you from summoning. So, what do? You negate the negation with Solemn Judgment. There's also Solemn Warning. Stop them from special summoning into any big monsters that could be a potential threat. Scrap Dragon is a very big threat. Scrap Dragon is a credible threat against this because it'll just pop off any of those blocked traps or spells and blow up your Bamboo Shoot and then just start playing like crazy. So stopping that is big. Next, Starlight Road. A deck like this is susceptible to heavy storms and dark holes. So what do you do? Solution. Starlight Road. I run 2. So far I haven't needed to run 3. I don't run into heavy and dark hole as much I'm playing with this deck because they generally can't activate it because by turn 2 I have Bamboo Shoot and they're fucked. So Starlight Road is only at 2 in this deck simply just for that fact. Stun decks generally want it at 3 because they're going to want to try to get rid of your back row as much as possible. And not a lot of people play against a lot of stun decks, so stun decks in this format are just way too good against the meta, and I think it's perfect to use. Next is 2 Torrential Tribute. Torrential can help you in a lot of ways. If you have Cliff and your opponent summons into Big Monster, chain Torrential, you get a special summon off of it. If you have a TG monster, play Torrential, you get a search off of it. You have Eggplant, you get to add something back to your hand. Torrential helps you when you use it. It doesn't bring you a negative. It gives you a positive. And that's why Torrential in this deck is just good. There's so many things that you can get a search off of. All your TG monsters gets you a search. Your Cliffs and your Eggplants get you your Eggplant will get you a recycle, and your Cliff will get you a special summon. So really when you play Torrential, you don't really have any negatives. Unless it's something on your field and you have Bamboo Shoot on the field, and they go into a big monster that's going to get over your Bamboo Shoot, you just say, screw it and do it anyway. Because then they can't chain Starlight Road to it. If they have 2 more monsters on the field, they can't chain Starlight Road while you have your Bamboo Shoot on the field. And it will kill them, and they get to miss the timing. So, Torrential in that aspect is also a plus, but it's also a negative because you lose your stun ability. But for the extra deck for this is so varied. It's crazy the kind of stuff that you can get out with this deck. The extra deck is pretty much up to you entirely. But so far this is what I use. I find it works, but I find sometimes I don't have enough room for... Like, I could use more level 7s, but then it unbalances everything else. So it makes it quite uneven to actually play. First off is Catastor. Catastor to get over BLS, or play Bottomless to BLS. Catastor mainly just to instantly kill it, and you can save your Bottomless for something else that's more important to get off the field. Because yes, BLS can come back, can be recycled, but if it does, then you're going to have an issue. But that's why you have Bottomless then. But you generally want to save your traps, so Catastor will get you over most monsters in the game. Alright, for those douchebag players who can't seem to get into Bamboo Shoot, who really need to get their opponent's traps and stuff off the field, and you're pretty sure they don't have Judgment or something, play Black Rose Dragon. Go ahead, play Black Rose Dragon. Love this card. Got me right over Fire Fist instantly. Because Fire Fist tend to fill up their back row with Fire Formation cards and spam their monster field. So what do? You play Black Rose. It ain't going to get you over Evil Swarms though, so you got to use your Compulses on Ophion. Get that Ophion gone. Then you have a chance against Evil Swarms. Next, Formula Synchron. When it's summoned, you get a draw, so you get a +1 just off of summoning it. If you have Hyper Librarian on the field, you get a +2. Great combo. That and Formula Synchron is used to Quasar. Or if you have 2 other level 5s, you can... No! I didn't time out! No! Oh my god. Lol. Wow, apparently this video is a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. God damn it. Really? Sorry about that. That should not have happened. Oh my god, I'm on the wrong account now. God dang it. God flippin' dang it. Oh! This is an experience. Oh, password not specified. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Let's try to finish this before it says screw you again. Okay. So you're at Formula Synchron. It's used to Quasar. It's used to Hybrid Cannon. But during your opponent's turn, you can use Formula Synchron to Synchro Summon during their turn. That is so cool. That is an interesting fact. Chain call, like if you have Call the Haunted, chain Call the Haunted, summon something you can sync with, boom, sync on their turn. It's so cool. And at that point, it can only be negated with Solemn Warning. Or they could bottomless whatever you summon. But our next is Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth. Level 6, easy to get out in this deck. Very powerful, 2600 attack, 800 defense, so watch out for Book of Moon. But Gaia Knight is just too good. He's an Earth. He's just powerful. This deck could use Grand Soil, but you don't need it. You really don't. But it is possible to use this with Grand Soil. I use Grand Soil with this deck. Your most important Synchro monster, Naturia Barkion. It will lock down your opponent's traps. So for when you try to play into Bamboo Shoot and you have Barkion on the field, they try to play Judgment. You can negate Judgment's activation. And then their spell and trap base is fucked. And when they go to activate, they still have to pay the cost. So Barkion is just amazing. And to combo Barkion, you have Naturia Beast. Because a lot of decks that have Barkion that don't have Beast in the field tend to get Dark Hold or Lightning Vortex. Traditionally, when I'm playing against my friend Ben, that's what happens. So I make sure to get Naturia Beast as well. Try to get it the same turn if I can. And sometimes it works. Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Naturia Beast, lock down spellbooks. Entirely. Will completely lock spellbooks. Unless they can get Beast off the field. Which they can only do with What's-Her-Face, which you'll probably end up just bottomlessing anyway. You'll end up bottomlessing Priestess anyway. So, Beast says hello. Next, Shooting Quasar Dragon. Its number of attacks is equal to the number of non-tuner Synchro monsters used for this summon. And it's a 4,000 attack, and it can negate a card's activation once per turn. So, Shooting Quasar is too good. Is just too good. People seem to keep telling me that Quasar can negate cards on your opponent's turn. If you read carefully, it says once per turn when the card effect is activated, you can negate it and destroy it. It doesn't say once per turn during either player's turn. It just says once per turn. There are a lot of other cards that say once per turn, you can. That doesn't apply to both players' turns. Stop thinking Quasar can negate something on your opponent's turn, because it can't. So, with Quasar, don't be that noob. Don't be that noob. Next, Stardust Dragon. I had Shooting Star Dragon in here, but I never summoned into it, unless Quasar was destroyed, which is hard to get out in the field anyway, and you more are going to want to go to Halberd Cannon rather than Quasar anyway. So, Stardust for Starlight Road, and in fact you can summon into it very easily with this deck. Well, not very easily, but easier than most of the decks. Yeah. So, next, TG Blade Blaster. This guy is wicked amazing. People doubt Blade Blaster's ability, but it's just way too good. When an opponent's spell or trap card is activated, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation, or negate the effect. And once per turn, you can remove from play one TG monster from your graveyard to remove this face-up card in the field from play. During the next standby phase, special summon it by this effect. And it's on your opponent's turn you can do this. So they want to play Dark Hole? Okay, Blade Blaster, banish Magician, special Blade Blaster. Well, banish Blade Blaster, bring it back. And then, when you do, your opponent activates Bottomless. Nope. Gets over that. Blade Blaster gets you over Judgment, gets you over Warning. Blade Blaster is so good. And people don't use TGs anymore. For what reason should you not use TG? Because it's slow in this format? Maybe. It's still good. It's still too damn good. Next is Halberd Cannon, the coup de grace of the deck. The main thing you want to get. Once per turn while this card is face up on the field, you can negate the summon of an opponent's monster. So, with this effect, however, if it's your opponent's turn and they summon, you can use Halberd Cannon's effect to negate it. Then again, if it does that, then I guess Quasar's effect to negate an activation of an effect works too. So I guess never mind that. TG Halberd Cannon can negate the summon of a monster and destroy it. When Halberd Cannon is sent to the graveyard via the effect, you can select one TG monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So, Halberd Cannon is a big plus. It stops opponent's monsters from being summoned, and it lets you special summon back Blade Blaster if you have it in your graveyard, which there's actually a cool loop that you can do. If you have Blade Blaster on the field, and you go into Recipro Dragonfly, use Recipro Dragonfly's effect to send Blade Blaster back, summon the two monsters used for Blade Blaster, then sync for Halberd Cannon. Then when you lose Halberd Cannon, you can bring Blade Blaster back. Or, if you had double Halberd Cannon, you can do it again. Bring Halberd Cannon back. Bring Halberd Cannon back. Bring Halberd Cannon back. If they die, just cycle Halberd Cannon back. So good. Just so good. Hyper Librarian for draw power when you synchro. Power Gladiator because it's one of the monsters you can sync out a hand that you'll want to, because your opponent might play something defense first, well, something in defense for you to attack, and when they see this at the field, they're going to start revealing their cards. They're just going to start wasting on Power Gladiator. Recipro Dragonfly, you'll need Boost Warrior and Spore for, or Wonder Magician for. Recipro Dragonfly is used to get into Halberd Cannon if you don't use Formula Synchron for it instead. Then 2 TG Wonder Magician. When it's synchro summoned, select one spell and trap card in the field and destroy it. When it's destroyed, draw one card. During your opponent's main phase, you can synchro summon this face-up card you control as a synchro material monster. So during your opponent's turn, this is like Formula Synchron where you can synchro summon with it during their turn. Wonder Magician is just too good to pass up. And fortunately, Wonder Magician is just a very beautiful card art-wise as well. It's cool.